So yesterday I made a very stupid decision to eat some uncooked dough. Now the flour in the dough wasn't heat prepared and it gave me a crazy bad food poisoning. So I went to bed and I lay down in my bed and I felt horrible, absolutely horrible. The whole night I couldn't close my eyes for one single second because I was suffering so much in my belly. And it got me thinking about how our mental state can really influence our experience of pain and suffering. Because I had no other choice than to wait it out, right? The flour was in my system and it needed time to be processed by my bowels, by my stomach, by everything inside my body. It needed to process the poison that was there, and eventually it would leave my body and I would be able to function normally again, right? But as it was happening, I was thinking to myself, man, the whole night I have been laying here in pain, and it's just so difficult to not start to freak out or to not, to slip into this mode of, my goodness, when is this going to end? But then I realized I have no other choice but to accept it. And so I started to really pay attention to the sensations of the pain. What does the pain actually feel like? What is the quality of the pain? And I realized it was kind of a way for me to mindfully process a temporary period of suffering. And I am sure that maybe even right now in your life, there might be temporary situations that cause you tremendous suffering. And you can do nothing else but to accept these situations. Now, you can tenfold the amount of suffering you experience from these situations by getting into a victim mindset, by thinking to yourself, oh, when is this finally going to end? Oh, it's so bad, it's so painful, poor me, poor this, poor that. And you increase the amount of suffering that the actual situation is causing you tenfold, a hundredfold, right? If you understand that you cannot change the situation, it is going to take time for you to move through this. It was going to take time for the food to leave my body again. There was a certain amount of time that my body needed to process everything. I couldn't speed up that process. I was stuck with this painful situation. So maybe you are stuck with a painful situation right now too, right? Maybe you have tried everything you could to change the situation, but there is an element of timeliness. There's an element that you can't speed up, like healing from a wound. You cannot speed up that process. Yes, you can take very good care of that wound, but you can't make it heal faster. It's the same with cooking, right? If you prepare something, it needs time. Time is an integral part of the cooking process. Same thing with going through a phase of suffering. Time can be a necessary element of this phase of suffering. So depending on how you deal with this pain, it will be much more or much less. So what I did was I started to really pay attention to the sensations, and I started to think to myself that, okay, I have to accept that tonight I will not sleep, I will be in pain, and tomorrow morning the pain will be gone and I will be functioning normally again. And for you, it can be useful to apply a similar mindset to a situation that you feel stuck in right now that you can't change, right? There is this stoic idea that you want to put attention and focus to changing the things you have control over, accepting the things you don't have control over. And the last part, I don't remember exactly what it is, but these two extremes are, I think, the most relevant here. So if you can exert control over a situation, if you can consciously make it better, if you can change something that will make your situation better, then go do that. In certain situations, you can't. Like if you are grieving the loss of a loved one, you can't change that fact. You can't bring back the dead. You can bring back the dead, right? So you will have to work on accepting the suffering. You'll have to work on allowing the pain to be inside your body. I had to allow this poison to pass through me and then eventually leave my body again. But once it was stuck there, I couldn't remove it instantly. There was no way for me to do that. So I think it can be good if you maybe adopt this idea that there is a dark cloud, a dark piece of matter passing through me. And it's painful. Yes, it was very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. But your mind has the ability to detach itself from the pain sometimes. And that's really what I was doing. I was detaching myself from the pain. I was laying there and really observing it. What are the sensations? What are the thoughts that are arising? And I refused to get into this victim mindset where I was telling myself, why me? Why me? Why did I do this? You're so stupid for eating this raw dog. You should have known better, blah, blah, blah. This is not helping. So if you're beating yourself up for going through a phase of suffering, it's going to cause you only more suffering. So instead, you can forgive yourself for being in pain. You can pay attention to the pain from a disidentified perspective, from a third person perspective. You can observe the pain, right? That's why I believe meditation is such a helpful tool. It can really be applied in basically any situation in your day-to-day life. When you're struggling, when you're suffering, when you're happy, when you're joyful, mindfulness can increase the meaning of every situation, right? And I really felt like I am learning something tonight. I am not only learning to not eat raw dough, but I'm also learning to allow this poison to pass through me and not resist it. I can, because I have to accept the fact that it's there. So let me try a different approach. Let me try to just study it and observe it and what is actually going on. And now when I look back, okay, it was terrible. It was a friggin' terrible night. But now it's a new day and I am healed and I feel better again, right? And it's going to be the same for you. If you are going through a painful situation right now that you can't change, if you can, go change the things that you can. But if there are certain aspects that you can't change, allow the pain to move through you. Understand the timely aspect and accept it, because there is, quite frankly, nothing else you can do. And the faster, the quicker you accept it, the faster you start to just observe what is going on instead of resisting it, instead of judging it, the less pain you will experience. Even though I am not diminishing the pain you are currently in. That is not what I'm saying. It's not about making it look like it's not that bad. No, no, not at all. Because it was extremely bad for me last night. It was terrible. But I want to invite you to not add on to the suffering, not make it even worse by just observing it, by allowing it to be there, and by knowing that it will pass through you, that it will move forward, and that you will be better again, that you will move out of this dark pit, that you will again see the light, that you will find the light again after the darkness. It's going to come. It's going to come. In the morning, it was gone. And I felt normal again. And I was grateful, right? This is another thing. Once you move through a dark phase and you come out the other side, you can be so grateful for being on the other side. The gratitude is visceral. I am so happy that I feel normal again. I was suffering so much last night, but now I feel grateful that I can be normal again. And this can be something for you to gain hope from. You can feel hopeful that once your darkness passes, once the poison leaves your body, you will feel normal again. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you learned something. I hope it was somehow inspiring or informative. I want to thank you for being here. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow.